Hi again. We're going to do a class for the shoulders and really just gently starting to build up strength in the shoulders, open up space and release tension. So we'll start on all fours. You'll need a brick for this. If you don't have a yoga brick, you could always even use a water bottle or a book or something, just so that you can have something to hold between your hands in a minute. So coming on to all fours. Let's just start with cat-cow pose. So just feeling your chest opening up and sticking the bum out, taking a deep breath in here. And then exhaling, rounding your back. And as you round, push the shoulder blades apart and up towards the ceiling, tucking your chin in. Inhaling, drawing your chest open, sticking the bum out. And see if you can maybe lean forward a little bit onto the hands. And then exhaling, as you round your back, spreading the shoulder blades apart, tucking the chin. And pushing back towards the heels a little bit more. And just exaggerate this movement in the shoulders and in the back for a few breaths. Inhaling, leaning forward, and exhaling, rounding, coming back. More like that. Inhaling, letting the belly drop down, the chest open. And exhale. And then from here, start to come up onto the fingertips and spread out the fingers, so we're taking the weight off the wrists. Rotate your hands around, so you're turning the fingers around to the edge of the mat, and then fully round, if you can, all the way around, staying up on the fingertips, or if possible, see if you can spread your hands down onto the ground. Now, this is quite strong, and it can be really challenging if you haven't done this before. It really opens out the forearms. It's so good for the shoulders because we hold so much tension in the wrists, forearms and hands that will result in us feeling really tight in the shoulders as well. So see if you can do a cat-cow here in this shape, in this position. If it's too much, you can always keep the hands more out towards the edge of the mat. And make sure that you've turned the hands around to the side, not in towards the middle. So a few cat-cows here, inhaling. Exhaling, rounding, spreading the shoulders apart. Inhaling, and as you inhale, see if you can lean forward again a little bit, taking the weight slightly forward, and then exhale. See if you can pull back and you'll feel that stretching the forearms a bit more, tucking the chin. Inhaling, opening up. And exhale. This is an area we forget to open, we forget to work on, is the arms, the hands and the wrists. And we do so much with them, so much work with the hands, and so they're going to contribute, if there's tension there, to loading tension into the shoulders, and you might just feel it in your shoulders, but it's actually happening, the tension is happening in the forearms. So deep breath in and stretching again. And then see if you can just sit back, peel the hands back, sit back on the heels and raise your arms up overhead and hold your elbows. If it's hard work to sit on your heels, you can stay up here and just hold your elbows with your hands. So we're framing the head with the arms, and see if you can pull your elbows apart, but you're holding on. So you're pulling apart at the same time as holding on. Notice how your rib cage is probably stuck out. And then do a little cat-cow here. So keeping the arms above the head, exhaling, rounding the back. And then inhale, and I'll turn to the side so you can see. Drawing the chest forward, pulling the arms back. And exhale, keep the arms either side of the ears and round the back there. We're just getting lots of movement into the spine, into the shoulders. And exhaling, good. Inhale, one more breath there. And then as you exhale, just reach the arms up, 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 up. Bring the palms together and then dive up into the air, reaching up. Exhale, settling down. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, settling, and feel the strengthening starting to happen in the back, really decompressing the spine here. Take the right hand down to the ground. Fingertips is fine, or you can rest on the palm. And then stretch through the left side of the body, looking up under the arm. Take a breath there. Inhaling, coming up. Bring the hands together above the head and do one more dive up into the air, reaching up and then lowering the left hand down, fingertips or palm, and then reaching and extending through the right side of the body, looking under the arm. Take a breath there, reaching. And then slowly release your hand down, coming back into all fours again, cat-cow. And if you feel like your wrists, your hands get tired, you can always come up onto the fingertips here, and you can also use the knuckles occasionally just to take the work out of the wrists. And just do a little bit of shrugging in the shoulders. So from cat-cow, what I want you to try and do is just drop your chest down. So the arm bones come up and it feels like your arms are actually kind of against the neck there, and then go the other way. So you're rounding. So you're creating this kind of shrugging movement. And this is really good for the scapula, the shoulder blade area. It helps to take lots of the tension out of the upper back. Just getting movement, blood flow. So a few breaths like that. So inhale, rounding. Exhale, dropping. Inhale, exhale, inhale. And you can really drop, release and shrug. Inhale there. And then just do some circles in the hips. Rolling out the pelvis. Deep breaths. And the other way, circling the pelvis. So we're going to come into pigeon pose and work the shoulders there. So this is a nice hip stretch as well. Come up onto the fingertips and bring the right knee up towards the right hand. As you do that, look at your right foot and shuffle the right foot forward underneath the hips. Move the left leg back. And if that feels like it's hurting the knee, if it's too much, then you can put the right hip on the ground, or you can get your little block, your brick or book or whatever you have there, and actually put it under the right hip so that you're sitting up on something, and that can take some of the work out of the hip and the knee. It's just getting comfortable there. Feel whether you need the block or not. And then let's do a little movement in the shoulders. So that shrugging again here. Can you feel that shrugging movement in the shoulders? Really getting the shoulders to move. Release tension, come onto the hands, and then start to turn and look over your shoulder. So you're looking over one shoulder, coming back, turning, looking over the other. You can tuck your back toes under, and that might give you a bit more stability and support to turn and twist. So we're getting lots of twisting into the upper back, releasing tension there. Take another breath in. Then as you twist, can you bend your elbows and twist and get a little bit lower? Come up on the inhale, twist and bend the elbows. So you'll feel this starting to go down the spine, into the side waist, into the lower back. And just notice where you're feeling these sensations, where you're noticing this. Twisting. And then start to come up and down like a wave. So it's a little bit like the cat-cow. Lift the chest and the head. And then see if you can bend your elbows lower down. And when you get as low as you can, then roll the head and roll back with the back rounded. So it's like you're bringing the back of the shoulders and the neck up first, and then the head comes up and rolling down. So making these wave movements, coming up and down a few times, just loosening out the back, the shoulders, coming up again and down. And then try the other way. So head down, as if you're going to put the top of your head on the ground. And as you get there, scoop and look up and forward and come up. And try that wave. So you're lowering down, scooping, coming up. And one more, scooping, lowering, lifting up. And a little twist and a shrug and a roll in the shoulders. Okay, and then move that left knee forward, bring the right leg back, and then just straighten the right leg down the mat. So you stretch out the back of that right leg, which you can feel has just been working the other way, and stretching out the leg. Do a little bounce there. Then step the right foot up between the hands, tuck your back toes under, and take a lunge where you're just doing a little bounce here, just starting to get the blood flow into the hips a bit more. Of breaths there, and then step the right foot back and come to pigeon on the other side. So the left knee can come up towards the left wrist, the hand. Shuffle the left foot forward a bit and then move the right leg back so you've got lots of space between the legs. Again, you can use your
You can use a folded blanket as well as this. So whatever suits you, you can bring that block under the hip, a book or a blanket or something, if that gives you more support. And then let's come into this sort of shrugging movement. So see if you can just move your chest between your arms up and down, trying to get lots of blood flow there. Come up onto the fingertips this time. So we'll give the wrists a little rest as you turn on the inhale, come back, and then exhale, twisting. Trying to get lots of movement into the mid-back. Exhaling. We hold so much in our shoulders and our back, and it can just feel so locked up that the thought of moving can just feel really difficult. But once you just get started, it really brings loads of flow back in, and you might be experiencing lots of sensation. Start to bend the elbows, and it might feel quite painful in places, but if you can just try and encourage movement back in, breathing into it. Obviously don't push into pain, but don't fear the movement too much. Your body will start to open up and you'll feel like you can suddenly make these bigger movements. Your shoulders start to release. So again, turning, coming back up. That's it. And then bring the hands down. Let's do this rolling. Maybe actually bring the hands a bit wider this time. So you're going to do almost like cat pose or cow pose, chest forward, head up. And then lowering down, keeping your head back and your chest down. And when you get as low as you can, then round your back, rolling your chin in and come up that way. And do a few of those. So we're getting a lot of movement into the spine, and the spine moves in this snake-like way if it can. Once we get the movement flowing back in, coming up again. And down. And then going the other way, so you're scooping up. And then lowering down, chin in, as if you're going to put the top of the head on the ground, and then you look forward and lift as if you're lifting something with the back of the head. And again, lowering, scooping, coming up. And then just a little twist, a shrug, a roll in the shoulders. And we're going to move this left leg back. So come back onto the hands, move the right knee in, and straighten the leg back. And you'll feel that where you've been stretching the hip there. So straighten the left leg down the mat. Just do a little bounce, a stretch there in the leg. Deep breath. And then step the left foot up between the hands. And then tuck the back toes under and come up to a bouncy lunge here. So just trying to get lots of energy flowing, movement. That's it. So we're going to come to downward facing dog now. You can put your back knee down, step the left foot back, and then come back up into dog. This time keep the knees bent and really push back. So what we want to try and do is get the chest back between the arms. If you feel like your head is forward above your hands, see if you can really reach your chest back, and almost like you're trying to touch your belly on your thighs, and just do that a few times, reaching back. And this will really pump a stretching, strengthening stretch into the shoulders, reaching back, coming forward, and again, reaching back. One more, exhale, come down to the knees, and then rest off the hands, coming back into child's pose. So you're just sinking down, resting the forehead for a moment. You can always put the block under your head if it's hard to get the head down onto the ground, so that's a nice support there. Just resting for a few moments, letting the weight come off the hands and the energy balance. So we're going to keep going on into what's called Dolphin. So coming onto your forearms, so from child's pose, you're already there. You just keep your elbows on the ground, interlace your fingers. You can tuck the little finger in so you're not leaning on one knuckle there. And keep your elbows in, so you'll notice your elbows will start to slide out in this, so keep working them in. Now come up onto the forearms, and this is Dolphin. So move your knees back a little bit, and then start to move forward and back. And you can feel again that we're really getting lots of movement into this shoulder blades area on the back. So the whole shoulder girdle is the ball and socket joint, the collarbone, and the shoulder blade, and this whole area is what we're moving. All those joints, so many sliding surfaces. It's such a complex area in the body, the shoulders. So it requires lots of different types of movement and lots of, range of movement to get the energy back in and release tension. One more there, reaching forward. Then as you come up over your hands, your head, see if you can do the shrugging again. So come up and down with the breath. So inhale up and exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. And then try this with a bit of weight bearing. So tuck the toes, lift your knees. So it's like we're going into downward dog where you just were. Keep the elbows on the ground and lift up. And you'll feel it's really hard on the shoulders. You'll feel like you're kind of collapsing. So really push into the elbows. This is weight bearing, strengthening the shoulders. Push into the elbows. And now try and reach your chest back towards your thighs again, like we did in downward dog. This is going to be challenging, so just do your best there, reaching back, feeling that pumping back. And then coming forward, move the feet back and see if you can come in towards forearm plank, which is really strengthening coming forward. Just briefly over the hands, strong legs, lower the knees, and then pull back. Bring the knees in and go back to child's pose. But where we're going to go is actually bring the hands forward. You can release the hands, bring the palms onto the ground, and reach back into what's called heart melting to stretch the armpits and underneath the shoulders, forehead down. So the bum is up in the air and the chest is kind of hanging above the ground there. Take a few breaths here. Releasing that tension as you come forward. Come up onto the hands. So I just want to show you, when you were doing that movement in Dolphin, it was likely that as you were moving, your elbows were starting to slide out. So if you just do that again, notice the position of the elbows. So coming forward and back, you might notice that the elbows keep moving out. And especially when you come up to this, often what happens is the elbows go really wide. So we want to keep the elbows in. We're going to do this again. I just want to show you why the elbows stick out. So if you grab your block, your brick, and you can do this kneeling, or you can come up if it's a bit tight on the knees and the hips there. So hold your brick there, your block, between the hands, and you're going to start to bring the block back behind your head. So just watching what happens. So the palms are flat, and you're just going to move your block back behind your head. See how far back you can bring it. And notice the position of your elbows. So notice where your elbows are and come back again. So it's likely that as you brought your block back, your arms went out wide like this. So let's do that again and keep your elbows in line with the wrists and the shoulders. So you want to keep this line, this integrity of wrist, elbow and shoulders all in one line. So as you lift the block up, try and keep your elbows in, keep them in, keep them in, keep them in, keep them in all the way back until the block is behind the head. And you'll feel there's a lot of resistance there. It's really challenging. Reaching the chest up, draw the belly back, take another breath, and then bring the block down. And just do that a couple of times. So sweeping the hands back, keeping the elbows in and down. And another one, sweeping back and down. Okay. So the reason that's challenging and the elbows want to stick out is when the elbows are out, the shoulders are dropping forward, which is our sort of more hunched habitual position in for most of us in our posture. We tend to kind of round the shoulders forward. So what's the position we're wanting to come to is the shoulders going back. And this allows the chest to open, improves our breathing, our posture, our spine, releases a lot of tension in the neck and the whole shoulder area. But it's not what we're used to. And so it's not that we're not doing anything right or we can't do this. It's just that we're much more used to being rounded. So the more you get used to pulling the elbows in, tucking them in and drawing the shoulders down the back, that's where you start to really build up the strength, release the tension and improve the posture. So that's just to kind of give you a sense of why it's hard to keep the elbows in. And it's just with practice, you'll get more and more used to that. So just bring the block behind your back. We'll just do another strengthener here. And this helps to really open up the front of the shoulders. So hold your block behind your back. Come up onto your knees and then pull your block back And see if you can really grab hold of it and pull the block away from you. And as you pull it away, try and pull it apart. So it's like you're pulling the block apart, and you'll feel this is a big pull and a stretch all around the pectoral muscles, the shoulders there. Deep breath. Try not to force it. Just slow your breathing down. And then releasing the arms. So we're going to come back into Dolphin again. This time you can use the block between your hands, holding the block again like you did when you had it over your head. And we're just going to offer a little bit more weight bearing to the body here. So elbows in, and see if you can rock forward and back. So you're moving forward and back, and forward and back, and then just trying to come up. So this is quite strengthening and quite strong. So just see where you get to and see if you can just draw your chest back, reaching back, keep the knees a bit bent, and just do a little rocking there while you're keeping your elbows in. And remember, that's the important thing, not necessarily how high you come up, but how close the elbows are to each other, really opening the shoulders, squeezing back. Take another breath. And then see if you can move forward and back here. So step the feet back a little bit and just come forward and back just a couple of times to build up the strength. Opening forward and back. It's quite strong. So just a couple of times is plenty. Forward, back. Bring the knees down. And then rest your head on your block. You can let your hands come around behind you and just resting your arms there. Take a few breaths. Letting the shoulders drop down. And then slowly coming up. So you're going to finish on your back. We're going to do this nice sequence just to create lots of range of movement in the shoulders after all that strengthening. This is based on somatics, and it's gentle, but it's working on a full natural range of movement. So I'm just going to show you once the two movements we're doing, and then we can do the sequence together. So you're going to lie on your side. I'll show you from the back and the front. So you're going to lie on your side. The first movement is a hand sliding movement. So you're reaching, and then you slide your elbow back. And what you might note, I'm avoiding the microphone, so don't copy me exactly, but I'm basically keeping my hand on my shoulder and then squeezing the elbow back while keeping the knees on the ground. So that's one movement. And then the next movement you're going to do, when you reach the hand past the hand, you're going to sweep it up into the air, reach it back. This is called putting on your coat. So you're reaching the arm back and you let the arm just rest down on the ground. Then you roll onto your side with the arm hanging behind you, and you'll feel quite a big stretch in the shoulder there. Then once you're on your side and the arm is starting to move, let the fingers point down and reach back, and as if you're putting on your coat or taking off your coat, you slide the hand across the back, scooping the fingers under the armpit, sliding over the chest, down the arm. So if I just show you on the other side, and then we can do this together. So you're on your side, you're reaching. The first movement is the reaching, the hand sliding, elbow back. And then the second movement is arm reaching up, reaching right behind you, and then turn and roll with the arm sort of dragging behind you. Let the hand slide over your mid-back, under your armpits, over your chest, down the arm. And you'll feel this is a full movement for the shoulder. So let's do a few rounds of this together. Lie on your left side, so I'll talk you through this. Resting on your side, resting the palm on the palm. And if you need something under your head, you can always put a folded blanket, but you want the head to be able to roll. So don't use the block, because it'll be too high and it'll get in the way. So if anything, you can double up your mat or put a blanket under your head there. So start to slide your hand and then slide back. Bring your palm over your chest and roll until your elbow touches the ground. Keep your hand on your shoulder and reach there, and then slide back again. And just do a few rounds of this with your eyes maybe closing now, and sliding on the breath. So you're sliding back and forward on the breath. Your hand reaching back, elbow reaching back behind you. Hand sliding over chest, heart, arm, palm, all the way down.
Feel the head roll and see if you can really feel into the rolling movement now, this very gentle rolling. After those strengthening movements, this is really rolling and releasing tension. Couple more, sliding on the breath. Hands sliding over the body. Feel your back twisting. Take another breath. And then next time your hand goes to the hand, so you're reaching the palm away, take the hand up into the air and watch the hand go right over your head and back behind you. And once it's reached as far back as you can, turn away from the hand, roll onto your side, and as you feel that shoulder stretch, let the arm kind of drag behind you, skimming along the ground. See if you can feel the back of the hand going across the back, under the arm, over the chest, down the arm and away, and do a few of those. So you're reaching up, watching the hand go back, turning away from the hand and feeling it slide, that full range of rotation. Feel the rotating joints. That's it. And you'll notice resistance, you'll notice points of tension, and just notice them, breathe into them. Don't worry too much, just feeling where your movement, your range of movement is today. Turn away from the hand, sliding back, sweeping your hand across your back. And as your hand comes over your chest, just resting there for a couple of breaths. And then slowly onto your other side. So roll to the second side and start the hand sliding first. So your palm is on your palm, left palm on right hand, and reach the hand away as far as you can. And then slide back, hand over arm, over chest, rolling, and reach into your elbow so your hand can stay on the shoulder or chest and reach. And then slide back again over your body, sliding. Let the hand caress the chest, the arm, the hand, reaching. Close your eyes, feel your head rolling and feel this nice rolling of the shoulders, the neck, the head. A couple more of those, sliding. Moving on your breath. Slow, deep breaths, feeling into the sliding movements, sliding surfaces, slowing yourself down. And then next time the hand goes to the hand, take the hand up into the air and take that big reaching up. Reach up and up and up and away. And when the arm has reached away as far as it can, look away from it and then roll onto your side, letting the arm drag behind you. Fingertips point the ground. Back of the hand comes onto the mid back, across the ribs, under the arm, down over the chest, over the arm, and reach again. And we'll do two more of those. So reaching up, a big reach, watch the hand go behind you. And when it's as far as it can go, turn away, look to the other hand, slide. Fingertips, roll wrist, back of a hand on back, sliding. Really developing the range of movement, feeling into the resistance. And it can feel a bit challenging the first few times, but you'll soon get used to it if you repeat this a few times when you're tight in the shoulders. One more. Rolling over, hand over back, armpit, and just let that arm rest in front of you, almost like it's in a sling. Just relax there. Take a breath. And then roll onto your back again, bend the knees. Rest your back on the ground and rest the knees together so the feet come apart a bit, hands on the belly. Close your eyes and just take a few breaths. Actually, bring your arms out would be nice here. You can rest the arms right out beside you, armpits open, palms facing up, shoulder blades on the ground, knees resting against each other. Just take 5 or 6 slow, deep breaths here. Feeling the shoulders really resting, open, spacious. If you want to roll the head a few times, you can. more breath here. And then find your way up. So rolling over to your side. Gently use the hands to push yourself up. Come to cross-legged or kneeling. Use your block to sit on. And we'll just take a moment here just to give the shoulders a roll. See how they're feeling. Maybe drop your head from side to side. See how the neck feels. That should feel a bit better. More space. A bit of release in the shoulders there. Bring the hands to the heart. And bowing into your body. To the wisdom of your body and to your dear shoulders that just do so much and hold so much. Just take a moment to give them some love and attention. Let the head bow in. And we'll close this today. Well done. Namaste.